Oh, and
I've been there. Wow. But I bought it. I'm still wearing.
Just like church.
They are. They're weird. You know.
I love like, I'm sure I think it's so nice out there.
Place. Oh, I see. Cheers. My kids are really see that, remember? Evidently, they were it's an elevator to the ICU. My daughter one more time. What I say? She's like,
It never lasts here. I was gonna make it for 3 days. Really, I drive a lot of coffee. I work so how long more of it? So I started after the summer. Then I worked part-time in the office. They're finding me. I mean, it just takes 2 weeks off. You know, just slow start. After vacation. Well, they were at 12 months.
Are we also doing the pledge of allegiance? Or no? I don't, what were you gonna say?
We might have a new follow voters. I want to take that lawyer instead. Slide and move it to the end unless we see him. Because I don't see him.
Just move it fast enough.
To the very, very end.
Very, very, very end.
After our thank you. Then if he shows up, I can flip down to it.
First group ever. Going to cruise.
I know we couldn't be at a meeting yesterday, so that be in the.
Yeah, I'm gonna move it.
Not quite a year. Yeah, it's definitely down there. Do you want to be somebody who is a driver? It is, it does take that away, but that's it.
When.
I would listen on the side. Excited to go.
Just move. Finish show. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Rotary. We're in the VFW club now, and I just thought it would be appropriate for us to do something that we haven't done in a long time. I don't know why. But I would invite everybody to stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation. Thank you. So, as we mentioned at the last meeting, this is Vocational Service Month. And as you know, this year, Stephanie celebrates the magic of Rotary. No music. Probably got to hook up the sound, but that's a good sign that we do that before we go further. Sue Luby is going to help us with the board weight test today.
All the
Things say or do. Person. True. Package. Sir. Thank you. And Colin, I think you're going to help us with the reflection for today. Bring it to you.
Oh, okay. So now you talk.
Well, I gotta come back here.
Thank you. So when I looked at doing a reflection on Monday, I just typed in reflection, and for some reason Buddha came up. And I don't know much about Buddha, so I had to Wikipedia Buddha. And it says that Buddha was a wandering religious teacher around the 5th century in South Asia. Now, I go to a Lutheran church. We don't really talk about Buddha, at least in the church I go to. So, but Buddha has many teachings and many beliefs, and I just want to summarize those today because if I talked about Buddha, we'd be here for a long time. And basically the summary of those beliefs and how they relate to the 4-way test. So, and these are, I think I picked 8 out of 10. Everyone would like to be happier, but few know how to get there. Emotions and attitudes affect how we feel. With training, we can rid ourselves of negative emotions, which will help us live a happy life. And from what I can see with Buddha, a lot of what Buddha talks about is living a happier life. Well, don't we all want to live a happier life? Disturbing emotions, anger, greed, fear, again, with the training, can and probably should be reduced. And obviously, we should try to limit our negative emotions. Acting compulsively out of anger leads to unhappiness. We should all learn how to calm down. Positive emotions, love, compassion, understanding, can help us with more happiness and bring more friends. And I thought, will it build good will and better friendships? That seems to make sense to me. Self-centeredness closes us off from others. Will it be beneficial to all concerned? We are always connected and our survival depends on each other. We should then try to help each other. And of course, that's Rotary's motto, is it fair to all concerned? Working on ourselves to become better is a lifelong challenge. Is it the truth? The wisdom of Buddha.
Thank you, Colin. There's the magic. Okay, we're back on. So today I have the honor of bestowing on one of our fellow Rotarians, a Paul Harris Fellow. Stuart, would you join me? This is why I was asking you if you're be here. Yes. So one of the honors that I have as president is to present Paul Harris Fellow recognition pins to our club members who have contributed to the Rotary Foundation. The Paul Harris Fellowship or have gifted Paul Harris points from existing Paul Harris Fellow members. The Paul Harris Fellow is named for our Rotary founder, Paul Harris, who started Rotary in Chicago in 1905. Rotary established this recognition in 1957 to encourage and show appreciation for substantial contributions. From an initial fund of $26, this foundation has grown to over $1 billion today. The Paul Harris Fellowship recognizes and acknowledges individuals who contributed or have made contributions in their name to the Rotary International Foundation in increments of $1,000. The Paul Harris Fellow recognition is given in subsequent levels, starting with the gold pin. And I'm pleased to award this Paul Harris pin to Stuart. It's always a challenge to get out.
Thank you, Dave.
And in addition, we have, it's a first time Paul Harris. As a first-time Paul Harris Fellow, we have a certificate. Okay. This says the Rotary Foundation of Rotary International. Stewart has been named Paul Harris Fellow in appreciation of tangible and significant assistance given for the furtherance of better understanding and friendly relations among peoples of the world. And it's signed by our international president. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
I'm going to give you this box. I noticed the plastic tin that I put on. There's a gold one that backs that. Congratulations. All right. So he's right there.
It's time for happy thoughts, happy bucks. I appreciate Joseph greeting me today. It was a cold hand, warm heart, he called it. So we're dealing with this cold weather. So who wants to go first? Right here, Randy.
My daughter goes to Drake University to study pharmacy, and she got offered an interview with Mayo Clinic to do an internship. Just the interview, not the internship yet. That's a good start. So
Excellent. Anyone else at this table? I'll move over here. Lynn?
I got happy bucks for my grandson this weekend. He's playing for the Shakopee High School team, the Minnesota Ice, or outdoor hockey day. I think it's called.
Nice. Nice. Move over here. Anyone? While I'm walking over here, I'll do mine. I'll be in Mexico next week. I'm looking forward to thawing out a little bit. Anyone else? I know, I'm hoping there wasn't snow. Here you are.
So last summer, I had a guest named Nimka Reese come to our club, and she was very intrigued and was very interested in joining. And at the same time, her husband took a job out in Bismarck, North Dakota. But being from Mongolia and being so impressed with our club, she left me with a bag of candy that I'm finally bringing to you now. And I'm going to pass it around, take one or two pieces. I believe it's chocolate. They're all kind of cute. And so this is just in thinking about guests and special people. Thank you.
There you go. Thank you. Right here.
New to this idea, but happy thought would be, I'm happy to be here. Thanks for the invite. I'm looking forward to be the speaker for the afternoon.
Good answer. All right, well, anyone else? I'm running up to our president. John in the way back. Okay.
I got to count it. People contributed their extra $1 from their $20.
Excellent. Any of those dollars want to say anything, folks? That'd be something.
Here's one.
You still have to count it? Okay, yes.
Right, there's one right here.
Over here, Mark.
John's been begging for a tip for years. I don't know. So I'm trying to give you all that example. Give him a tip and say, do what you want with it.
Perfect. All right, and I have one.
And the president here.
So two things. Number one, I was very happy to communicate with my cousin who lives in Pensacola, Florida. And she showed me a picture. I should have had it here for you today. A picture of the snowman that she made in her front yard. Now she lived in Illinois, in Waukegan, Illinois, before she went down to Pensacola. So she's familiar with winter weather. But to see her bundled up in her winter coat with her dog and a snowman was quite a joy. On the other side, I'm very happy that we still have a hole bubbling in the middle of our pond with our 60 fish in it. That hole has been closing and closing and closing, and I keep breaking ice to bring it up. but it is still open. And I think if I just get beyond today, I'm going to be good. So that's my happy thought. Thank you, everybody, for your contributions. Phil, could I ask you to do me a favor? I don't, do we have any, John, do we have any visitors today? I don't think so. I don't think so. All right, so Phil, I'm not going to ask you after all, but thank you, because I know you.
Great work.
Yeah. We have a number of Rotarian birthdays this month. Kathy, Ellen, Donna, Mel, and Stu are two wonderful honors this month, right? And then we have a number of Rotarian anniversaries. Cynthia Lynn, 44 years. Colin, 13 years. John Woodruff, 50 years. Stuart, 1 year. There you are again. Carolyn, Karen, and Lori. So congratulations to everyone and happy birthday to those who have birthdays this month. We're continuing to collect for our contribution to the Rochester Grants Committee. As you can see, we're better than halfway through. We currently have 1,850. Giving to this cause is easy, and the link is right on our Rotary site. So if you're interested, please take a look at our Rotary site and contribute to the Rochester Grants Committee. The Rotary midterm was this past weekend on January 18th. And as you can see, we had a large contingent there from Rochester. It was a great midterm meeting. And so thank you to all of you who attended. We also recently had a number of Rotarians. Bill, you were there with me at almost an exclusive Rotarian table. But the mayor, in her State of the City address, mentioned our club, and I just wanted to play 1 minute of this. It's a 48-minute video, but we've got it set right where she talks about one of our projects. So let's try and do that. Share. There you go. And just go down to share. There you go. Perfect.
It's the upcoming statue that's going to be put up in Central Park, hopefully before the end of this year, of Amelia Hatfield Witherstein, the first woman elected to any office in the city of Rochester, and the first woman to serve on a jury in Olmsted County in the early 1900s. It's been really fun working with a group of residents, digging through all the wonderful women, because this was kind of the focus of Statues for Equality. And this particular artist that stepped forward has done a lot of research and found that there are only 5% of the world's statues are of women. And we know women have contributed to. So we are going to honor one. And for those of you, well, you'll learn more about her in the time ahead, but for some of you that don't know, the Witherstein family changed their name to Withers a number of years ago, and the family of Amelia Hatfield Witherstein still lives in our community and has been deeply involved over the years. So we're really excited to not only have found a wonderful first elected woman, but also someone who still has family here. So that's pretty exciting. And we want to thank the community members for the donations that are helping make this a reality. I want to especially thank the Rotary Clubs of Rochester, because they have donated funds for the base of the statue. The park board just approved this week, and they also are contributing to the base and design of the statue and the garden that will surround it. Which is in the bottom corner, is kind of a bonus. And this will be placed in the garden adjacent to the statue, and it's going to honor our rich history, of the large Canadian Jews, love them and hate them, whatever, they're here. And also a nod to the artists. So Gilly and Mark are the artists who did this, and Gilly and Mark are artists out of Australia, and they specialize in animal art, and you can see it all across the world, So I thought it was nice to have that. I'd also like to thank Judy Hickey and the Greater Rochester Arts and Cultural Trust for their help in this, and the Rochester Area Foundation is supporting our work. So thank you to those organizations as well.
So thank you for all who contributed towards this project. As you know, we are working side by side with the Owatonna Rotary Club for this district grant. I think it's an exciting project, and I was very excited to see the Rotary recognized at this mayor's meeting. For those of you who attended, we had congressmen, we had senators, we had the head of the city council, we had the head of the school board, we had Dave Senjum speaking on behalf of the county board. It was very well attended by all the local businessmen. So to have the Rotary clubs mentioned for this project, I thought that was a very significant moment, and I wanted to share it with you. We have a number of announcements to cover. Again, the 100th anniversary planning continues. Again, May 15th, 2025. Please see the notice in your moccasin flower for sponsorship opportunities. If you're interested, and Channel 1 opportunities, again, that meets regularly on the fourth Monday of every month. The risers and other Rotarians are welcome from 5:30 to 7:30. Rotary Making Peace Visible Conference is May 2nd through the 3rd. Now, this was something that came up at the district conference. If you register by the end of this month, you have like $100 savings for the registration fee. So if you're planning on going to that conference, it would be beneficial for you to register yet this month. I know Ashok has worked very hard to make this a wonderful conference, and would love to have others from our club attend. The 2025 Jeremiah Cook for Kids dates, May 20th and September 16th. And then the C2C Education Summit fundraiser that will be held at Victoria's and Sorrelinas on March 23rd and April 27th. Marilyn, would you want to take a moment? I know you're online. Let's see if we can unmute you. There we go.
Okay. Yeah. Hello, everyone. Looks like a really nice space that you have there. I'm looking forward to being there next in person. So, but a quick going back to Jeremiah and Cook for Kids, just a quick thank you to all who volunteered just a couple of days ago, Tuesday evening. We had 11 volunteers who brought the food and served the meal, and also had a family or kids activity that was led by Christine Erke. So it was great fun, wonderful time, and hope to see more of you, and also the people returning for the next dates. But going to Cradle to Career, this is a new and very exciting opportunity to fundraise for the Cradle to Career Education Summit. And through the generosity, and I mean big generosity, of Sorrelinas and Victoria's, because they, well, let me give you a little bit of the background. First of all, so at Victoria's, it's going to be on March 23rd. There's another flyer just like this one, only, oh, there it is, that shows Victoria's. And then, of course, the logo for Cradle to Career, and our logo, the Rotary Club of Rochester, down in the lower right-hand corner. And as you can see, Victoria's and Sorrelinas are going to donate 25% of their food sales those days. And this is all day from 10:30 in the morning until 9 o'clock at night. So whatever that figures out to be, but several hours. So we will have flyers made up that you can hand out. We will be putting them out on social media. Cradle to Career will also be sharing it through social media. And there is one other opportunity at Victoria's. They are actually going to allow us as Rotarians to hand out flyers at the door. As you know, in Victoria's, they have that nice entryway. So that's great because you never know in March what the weather might be. But I will be getting a sign-up sheet out there for people to sign up, probably very similar to Salvation Army bell ringers, of 2 at a time for like 2-hour intervals to sign up and encourage people to take a flyer. And, everyone, in order to get that 25%, they have to mention the fundraiser. So it's not like it's across the board. Everybody who comes in and eats that day, that we get that percentage. It's for those who mention the fundraiser. So it's very, very important that we get the word out to people to go and eat there that day and mention the fundraiser. So lots of opportunities for everyone to help by handing out flyers, sharing on social media, going to eat at either or both of these places on these dates, and volunteering at the door at Victoria's. So more information to come in the Moccasin Flower, of course, and I'll be continuing to get back to you with the flyers and so on. And if anybody knows of a good place to have flyers printed, let me know. So I can put my email out there on the chat. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Marilyn. So again, a reminder that the Rotary clubs of Rochester are now part of the Rochester Area Chamber of Commerce, and you're welcome to attend activities that are part of the Chamber's activities. I want to mention that the Rotary Rotation Day is January 30th, so we won't be meeting here at the VFW next week. We'll be meeting at the Diocese of Winona's new Rochester location. I again want to thank Lori Lutke for all of her work on the website and the Moccasin Flower associated with our 100th anniversary. We went over these moments to remember. You're able to go to the next. There we go. We went over many of these moments to remember at our last meeting. But I think it's wonderful to see some of the activity that took place over our 100 years as a Rotary Club here in Rochester. And today we have as a speaker before 12:30, Colin. And Colin is going to introduce our speaker today. Would you like me to just bring the mic there?
No, I got to keep.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
I also am headed for a southern destination, Alabama, who will be on the road this time next week. And we also have people in Gulf Shores, Alabama, that sent us snow pitches Monday, Tuesday, pretty discouraging. So yeah, we hope it heats up very rapidly. Anyhow, Todd Hansen is the president and CEO of Compass Cats. He's brought a lot of material that you can take on your table today. His professional journey began with a manufacturing role while in college, followed by experience in auto sales and management. While starting Compass Cats, Todd worked for Wells Fargo in sales, management, technology, and corporate training, expanding a 21-year career. 6 years ago, he founded his current business, which we'll talk about today, inspired by hunting in Whitewater State Park. But I'm going to believe you don't have to be a hunter to use his product. I'm sure he's going to cover that. In fact, when I go to Gulf Shores, we see people with lots of paraphernalia at a hole, fishing rods and swimming materials and all kinds of stuff. And that's what made me think about this when I saw it in the post bulletin. So he had an idea to combine a game cat and a hitch hauler to simplify moving game and gear, and that inspired him to take action. So With that, and he also tells me he likes shows like Shark Tank. Todd is excited to share more about Compass Scott's inception, their current endeavors, and the company's vision. Please welcome Todd Henson.
Hey, that's my, come on down phase, right? Come on down. Hi, everybody. My name is Todd Hanson. As Colin mentioned, owner and inventor of Compass Carts, and what a journey that's been. We came up with a slogan, get lost doing what you love, like Colin said. There's so many ways to enjoy using a Compass cart, whether it's anything from commercial to, you know, whatever you enjoy in your life. It just helps you move stuff, right? Today, we always have a lot of stuff. So I came up with the idea, like you mentioned, was down in Whitewater, sitting in the woods hunting, and you get a lot of time to think when you're out there, especially when you're not seeing anything at the moment. And we had this game cart we would drag out into the woods, and then we'd have our gear and stuff on it, and come back, we'd bring hopefully some game back. If not, we brought gear back. And then when you get back, and then you got to move it back onto your truck or in your truck. And this was just, the idea was how to make those two items the same. So the journey was rather interesting. So I got this idea. I think it's a cool idea. But how do you make sure it even works? So you'll see in the picture there, the one with the wooden one, that's really where I started. Like, can you make something that actually works? And it kind of did, but it worked well enough that I went to the one down on the lower left with a bike on it and made one out of aluminum. And boy, that really worked good. It wasn't strong, but it proved the concept. Then I went to production, you know, I had some made, and you'll see you've got the guys that are actually making some of our first models. We probably made 10, 12 of them right there to figure out a different way to produce it. And then finally we were about ready. So in this stage, when these guys are starting to make one, I had an opportunity to pitch for Camping World. And thinking, man, this is my, you know, number one big time of the day. And I tell you what, about everything you could imagine went wrong right before I pitched. It was crazy. So the product wasn't ready. We were supposed to pitch on Thursday morning. Friday, I'm picking my first cart up to take to the show. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It still isn't working, and we got parts that are failing. And now I'm going to pitch this to probably the biggest presentation I've ever pitched in my life. So we made it work, come up with some solutions. Hop in the car, my daughter's coming along, boy, great moral sport. And it cheers me up a little bit. But we're cruising down the highway. We get to Wisconsin Dells, and my daughter says, hey, can we grab a coffee? It's like, sure. And I'm honestly thinking as we're driving there, why am I going to give this presentation when it's not ready? I mean, I don't feel comfortable with it. I'm not confident about it. Why am I even doing this? So we pull in and get that coffee. And as I'm sitting out there, a car followed us off the interstate, pulls up behind me and says, what is that? That is really cool. All right. Needless to say, I kept going. And it was like a sign. And in business, that happened to me a lot as we're starting Compass Carts. Because you get a lot of things that don't go well. You just need those signs to keep you moving forward. So what Compass Carts does is it solves a lot of problems. It helps you along your game. And you can see how people back up their cars these days. I mean, how many of you have seen these guys down the road as you're traveling? But it really solves a lot of problems. It lets you bring more gear, keeps your, like for the hockey moms, they're telling me it'd be a great way to keep your gear outside so it doesn't stick up your car. So there's a lot of ways you can use it. And throughout the time as I'm developing this and talking with customers about our potential retailers, my customers are telling me, man, it would be great if we could do this. It'd be great if we could do that. So we added the bike rack, which is actually in the final stages of development. We made it trailerable, so you can pull it as a trailer. And you can literally pull it with your gear. I've got coming out this spring, a kayak carrier, so you can, if you want to get back to some backwaters for hunting or fishing, you can bring your kayak with you. And this is what customers were asking for. So I'm like, no, let's see if we can make it. But it's really great for the outdoors. But I've also got people using it for, lots of other things. They're using it in trades, they're using it to haul their tools on and off the job sites. They're using it for a lot of different things. So competition for me, I thought was great. So a lot of these products are brand new to the market. And what it told me was I wasn't the only one trying to solve the same problem. How do you move your gear? How do you make it efficient? How do you leverage that receiver hitch on your back of your vehicle that only has one spot, right? So you can't have a bike rack and a hitch hauler. Well, you could, now you can. We've been really fortunate as we've been growing. We've made the news a lot. In fact, that's how we ended up here. Colin saw us in the Post Bulletin and thought, hey, let's see if Tom wants to come on down to the Rotary here and share his story. So one of the articles that's on your desk is a copy of that the article that's in Wheels of Field magazine. So that's our first international publication that we actually got recognized in. I don't really say recognized, talked about. Let's just say it that way. So the owner of that magazine saw us at one of the trade shows and thought it was really neat. But since then, we've been to ICAST for fishing down in Florida. We go to a lot of the sports shows around the area. The next one I'll be is in La Crosse, but I've been in places including Colorado. I was in Denver for what they call an outdoor retailer show. And when you're a startup company, you really got to do a lot of guerrilla marketing. And these trade shows, as many of you have probably been to, they're expensive. Like to be at that trade show in outdoor retail was probably a $10,000 investment to be there. And I didn't have that kind of money. So what I did is I took my cart, took my bike, always got up at like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning and went and parked my truck right in the very first spot, right in front of the show. And then at the hotel was fun because I had the cart on there, the bike on it, and my truck, and it's long. And the valets looking at this thing like, I don't think that's going to fit. I said, here's some cash. Would you mind parking this right out front? We can do that. I said, yeah, please. Literally put it right in front of the door of the hotel. And so a lot of the people that were going at this convention were coming in and out. I tell you what, by the time I got back and went to dinner, I was talking with people the whole time. It was 8, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night sometimes before I got a chance to eat. But I think to kind of show you exactly how this works and one of the reasons that when we go to these shows, we've been called the most innovative product at the show. And we're really excited about that. It's a hard product for people to understand or grasp exactly how it works. So if you think we can find that video that'll play? So this is how a Cookless carts starts. How about that? Kind of cool. All right, let me do this. That's about 15 minutes. What do we got for questions?
I have several. So who's the manufacturer? And what's it weigh?
Okay.
Yeah. Who's the manufacturer and what's the weight?
The weight of it. Okay, 2 really good questions. So mentioned I started 6 years ago to manufacture it, and I was dead set on making it here in the US. To produce it, it's like $1,500 a piece plus packaging to make them here in the States. So I ended up finding a company that does sourcing for overseas. So I'm actually having it made by a company called Forcom. They make stuff for like Nissan, GM, Thule, Yakima, some of the vehicle accessories. So I do have it made overseas. So I do, that's part of my journey. I learned how to import. But so I do have it imported. The cart itself weighs about 61 pounds, depending on which set of tires you use, because I got a couple different options. And then the rack itself is about 38, so it's about 100 pounds on your receiver hitch without anything in it. Yes.
Do you have configuration for both receiver sizes, or is it just the larger one?
Right now, I just have it at the 2-inch because there's adapters for the different, sizes. So if you need, like, I got a number of people that have 3/4 ton trucks or something, got a 2.5 inch. It works great. This version is really heavy duty, so it's not really designed for like an 1 and 3/4 or 1.5 inch size. I don't have a version for that model yet for that size.
I know for a number of years, we had a bike rack that was a smaller hitch, and I had the adapter that I had to use in order to put our bike rack on because the car had a larger hitch. More recently, because my wife got an electronic bike.
I like those.
Those bikes are a little heavier if you've ever tried to lift one. So now I'm very happy with my 2-inch hitch. So I'm sort of an on again, off again hunter.
Yeah.
I usually go out to watch the deer versus actually shoot them. But
Sounds like you and I are in the same boat lately.
But there's a lot of deer in the valley behind our house, and I'm a hosta gardener, and deer love hosta. So as much as I like to see the deer in the winter, I don't like to see them in the summer. But the fact that I have this very steep incline to my valley, to be able to bring that cart in from the bottom down by West River Road would be very attractive. So you got this 2-inch hitch, you've got the cart, and now all of a sudden you're pulling a deer out from the woods. That all then it stays in the cart and goes on the hitch. Is that the idea?
Yeah, you can leave the deer right on the cart and then load it on your receiver hitch. There is a kind of a height, I'm not gonna say maximum, but where it really works best is up to about a 17-inch receiver hitch height. So if you got like those 3/4 ton, 1 ton trucks I was talking about, where they're 18, 19 inches up, you almost need an adapter because it's hard to load up on those taller ones. But say a 1/2 ton pickup or smaller is a good size to consider.
I've got an SUV, so.
Oh, perfect.
I'm a little confused. You show the car hauling a toolbox and hauling a boat.
Yeah.
One car that expands or the different size carts?
Great question. So it's one cart, different attachments. Yeah. So on the front of the basket, I've got an attachment that lets you connect it. It's basically an arm that you can connect it either to a bike, and I got a separate attachment that goes to so I got a separate attachment that goes to the ATV or a golf cart or UTV, and then the other ones go to a bike. This one here, one in the middle with the kayak on it, that's a newer version that I just came up with because customers were asking for the ability to move their kayak with it. So if you're in a campground, for example, and you want to take the kayak down to the beach, that's another way to do it. And so these are all adapters. So the arms would be an adapter. I've got a rod holder that's coming out. That'll be an adapter. And then the toolbox, we're playing with that. I don't have that out yet. Again, I got customers that are asking for a toolbox. So we've been prototyping that out.
Excellent. Other years.
I am curious.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated with your slogan, getting lost, doing what we love.
Yeah.
How did you come up with that? What's the thought process? How did you get there?
Yeah, it's I wanted to get away from the product and just why people would use it. And you're generally speaking, people are using it because they're doing something they love to do, whether it's hunting, fishing, camping. I didn't expect so many people to be using them in the trades, but as long as you love what you're doing while you're working, that's cool too. But it's really the idea that, get lost doing what you love. Don't worry about today. Use this cart, spend time with family, get away from your day-to-day, activities.
I think it's great.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Do I have to be in front by the camera here somewhere? Walk around, is it okay? You're good.
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
move that.
You may have said this, but
Sure.
does it looks on the back of car, truck, bike, what about like a John Deere riding lawnmower or a four-wheeler or does it,
Yeah.
does it just have to have a hitch or what?
Exactly, it just has to have a hitch. So, on the vehicle itself has the rack that slides into the receiver hitch. That's what allows you to slide the cart on top of the receiver hitch. But then if you're gonna pull it behind like a garden tractor or an ATV or four-wheeler, you would use the ATV arm, which lets you pull it as a trailer instead of a hauler. So it just gives you that flexibility. Does that help?
Yes.
Kind of summarize? Yeah.
Weight capacity.
400 pounds. So it's a lot. In fact, if you got that fully loaded with 400 pounds in it, depending on how tall your vehicle is, it gets a little heavy to load. So I actually have a winch bracket that mounts on the front of the cart or the front of the rack that slides up on. Think of it like a boat, loading a boat on a trailer. It's got an adapter so you can connect a winch to it. So you don't have to, lift it up or leverage it up. You can just, crank it up on. But you were talking about getting up the hill. Who was talking about that? Getting up the hill with the deer. So when I was down in Whitewater, we had a challenge because we crossed the river. So coming back out of there, now you got to get up the riverbank with your gear and hopefully some game. And that was hard. So in the front of the basket, you can take that winch off the rack and put it on the basket and use that to pull the deer up the side of the bank. So I got a little carried away. When you're an inventor, you can do that until you run out of money. Thank you.
Wondering what your background is before you did this project, and also is it on display somewhere in Rochester?
Good questions. Okay. Background. I'm a tinkerer. I do a lot of woodworking. That's what I was in wood. But my background is mostly in sales, finance. Some in technology. I've kind of done a little bit of everything. In college, I worked for at a factory, trained heating and air conditioning on La Crosse. So I actually got a chance to see how things were built. And I tell you what, I hated that job. I learned a lot, and because of that, it really helped me with this project. It helped me understand when they were talking about how to bend metal. I understood it. So I'm pretty well self-taught on a lot of this stuff.
So I wasn't thinking of trying, you'd have to see my hill. There's no way even a winch would bring it up. But what I can do is go around to the back, and the lower level butts up to some houses down on West River Road, and I can come up through their lawn onto my property.
Oh, there we
And
go.
now I'm just thinking about this because I've got a whole bunch of logs down there. And I was thinking of how am I going to get my chainsaw and everything down to the bottom of my valley. And then once
Sure.
I'm there, how am I going to move all this wood to stack it? And this all of a sudden just seems like a brilliant option for me.
This is great.
For the work that I was planning on doing this coming summer.
I think I got a new customer.
Well, I often talk about doing work and never get to it. Now you're going to force me to actually do it.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Any other question? Here's another question here.
Sell these online or you sell these online, only special made to order, or are they retail driven?
Great question. So that's the phase we're in right now. So we mentioned I started about 6 years ago. We didn't actually get product until a year ago, November. So November of 2023 is when we first started getting product. I do sell them direct to consumer on my website, but I also, in fact, there was a question I didn't answer for some reason. Can you find them here in town? There's a couple sports shows or sports stores that are carrying them right now. You can order one through Coyote Creek, and then down in Stewartville at Black Diamond Armory, but I'm in talks with Shields, so I'll likely be in Shields this spring. So I should have inventory in there. And then I just figured out a deal. This is crazy. This week's been wild. I just got a deal with an RV dealer, so I'll have it at some RV dealers around the Midwest here too now. So we're just starting to get into the sales side of the or the retail side of the business.
With a lot of battery options coming up, is there an option adding a gear-driven battery operated assist?
Yeah, not yet, but it's, if you were to look at my original, drawings back in, oh shoot, that would have been like 99 maybe. I actually have that in the blueprint, so it's in the roadmap to have it. In fact, I've even got, I just put skis on it. So for if you're snowmobiling or you're gonna go ice fishing, I hooked it up to that bike that you see on there and, had my son-in-law sitting in the basket. And we were cruising all around. We had a little bit of snow. It was fun. So yeah, there's not much we can't do.
So tell me about this.
Thank you. So on your table, I have a little picture, a little flyer of Forbes magazine. It's fake. So far. So far. But with your help, I might be able to get there. So I entered a contest and this week has been kind of crazy because all of a sudden I got selected to be a participant in it. And it goes based on votes. And if you happen to get enough votes, you keep moving on to the next level of the competition. And it's sponsored by Forbes magazine. Damon John from Shark Tank, you might have seen him on there. By the way, he's the big outdoorsman of the Sharks. He's the guy that he's hunting and fishing, and I would have never guessed that, but he's the outdoorsman. And then a $25,000 cash or award you get to as well. So I kind of entered it on a whim and I got selected and I'm like, oh shit, here we go. So that's what we're working on. There's a couple other flyers out there. This one here just takes you out to our website. Shows a little bit about what we are and what we do. And then the article is a copy of the magazine in Wheels of Field. Appreciate that. Thank you for asking.
Yes.
Just a quick comment.
Yes.
Looking at this design, this looks like it's gonna weigh a few hundred pounds. Comment made here about you getting electric power on that. And from my own experience of pushing a wheelbarrow loaded with dirt and things like that, I would think you're entering a whole new arena if you could get that electrically powered. So I don't know, how much does it weigh?
Yeah,
And how far away are you from putting that electric motor on there?
The cart itself is all aluminum for the most part. There's some stainless steel and some steel components on it just for strength where I needed it. But it's 61 pounds, the cart itself. It feels very light in your hand. It's about 7 to 8 pounds in your hand as you got it in your tongue. But if you're pulling it up a hill, you'll feel that 60 pounds a little bit more, especially if you got, dirt or something in it. The motor, at least 12 months yet. It's going to take a little while to get that motorized. I got an idea how to do it. We haven't quite prototyped it. Stay with me on this because I've got an idea that if I get it the way I want and I shoot for the stars, I'll add what they call follow me technology with that wheel. So you won't even have to pull it. You'll just wear a little clip on your belt and it'll follow you. So that's the vision of where I want to go, but it's going to take me a little while to get there.
Excellent.
So cool.
Well, Todd, I'd like to thank you for a wonderful presentation. This is exciting, and I'm going to take your card as I leave today because I'm all of a sudden getting kind of serious about my thoughts here. But thanks for your presentation. We will be giving a donation to the Sports Mentorship Academy here in Rochester. You can see some of the youth that have enjoyed being a part of that academy. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you, and thank you everybody, and thank you Zoomers. Thank you so much.
So I also want to thank a number of the people that helped out today. Joseph for being our greeter today. John Woodruff, the cashier and sergeant at arms. Sue for the 4-way test. Colin for the reflection. Frank for helping us out with Happy Bucks. AV and tech support from Churston. Thank you. And Todd, again, a big thanks for joining us and being the speaker today. And with that and the magic of Rotary, there, one more. There we go. And the magic of Rotary. Have a great day. And that's the end of the meeting.